What's up guys, Steven here and welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about Google Nest Wi-Fi. So usually I don't talk about networking devices or networks because I think it's a kind of boring topic, but Google Nest Wi-Fi is really a revolutionary product that is so amazing, and this is why we're checking it out today. Now this video is not sponsored by Google. I just got a set of the Google Nest Wi-Fi to test it out for you guys. I'm using it now for 2 weeks and I have to say it's really great. So before we check it out, there's a little trailer from my TikTok account. So if you don't follow me on TikTok yet, I would be really happy if you could check it out. Let's go.
Connection lost. Ah, yes! Well, looky here, what do we have? Another pretty thing ready for me to grab. But little does she know that I'm a wolf and she's clubbing, 'cause at the end.
Alright guys, now before we get started, just a little introduction on the topic and a quick explanation on what this actually is. So Google Nest Wi-Fi won't replace your modem. Now you need to have an internet connection, so this does not provide internet to you, just the Wi-Fi part. Now in Austria it's very tricky because all the cable providers, they give you such crappy modems like the one you've seen in the intro, and really I had to reset this thing every day. That means, you know, plug it out, plug it in, and then the network is working for a couple of hours again until it crashes again. Because they cheap out on the modems, on the routers, and they give you the biggest piece of crap. Now I'm actually using a Fritzbox 6890, which is the perfect LTE modem. I've used so many LTE modems from Huawei to several other brands, but they have so limited functions and the network providers don't want to give you more than that. And this is why I got a Fritzbox. The Fritzbox is actually great. Now AVM, so the company behind Fritzbox, also has a mesh system that is working great. I was using this mesh system since now I had not a single failure on this unit. So I had never to reset my network. This was literally amazing. But I use a lot of Google Home products in my new home here, and I have so many devices connected to the Google Assistant, and I have now two options. Either use my previous network with the mesh system and buy a lot of Google Nest Minis, which integrates the voice assistant in their mesh dots, which is really, really amazing. Now to make it simple guys, Google Nest Wi-Fi consists out of a router that you have to connect to your modem. So you can buy a modem from Amazon, you can use the modem from your ISP, it doesn't matter. Now all you have to do is simply connect your Google Nest Wi-Fi router to your modem from your ISP or your own one. You can do that by using an Ethernet cable, just connect it to one of the Ethernet ports, and then you're ready to go. Also for sure connect it to power and do the setup in the Google Home application. Now it's the easiest way to set up a Wi-Fi network. I've not seen anything that is easier because you can do everything from your phone. It really walks you through the process. So you just scan the QR code, connect to the device, and then it does everything automatically. That's really super amazing. But if your current modem is also a router, that means if you already have a Wi-Fi network, then you have to disable your old Wi-Fi network. On the Fritzbox, that is really simple because the user interface is just great. You just go to the dashboard, you just remove the ticks for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz and you're done. Then it's a modem only without any Wi-Fi network access because we want that the Google Nest Wi-Fi router is doing all of that. Now, if you have the router only, the Wi-Fi coverage is around about 2,200 square feet. If you have one router and one access point, it's around 3,800 square feet. And if you have the router and two access points like me, it's around 5,400 square feet. So you can cover a really big house with that. Now you need to understand that the router and the access points are really, really different. The router itself, it's only the gateway, so it's just providing the Wi-Fi. But the access points, for instance, they have Google Assistant built in. So they have an integrated microphone, which you can also mute here on the back with a switch, which is cutting the power to the microphone. So if you don't want that Google Wi-Fi listens to you, you can actually turn it off. And then you also see that it lights up here in yellow or orange. That basically means that the microphone is muted. So due to privacy concerns, I sometimes mute my microphone, and I've also opted out of some of the Google privacy data analyzers, what they call it, where they send basically some user data, for sure anonymous user data, to the servers. If you don't want to do that, Google is really offering you to disable that, and this is what I've done. Google has also redesigned their access points. Now, as you can see, it now looks really futuristic and cool. Fits basically in every home because you see it's just very simple. The speaker is here at the bottom. At the top we have touch controls to adjust the volume, and also the microphones here at the top. And to be honest, it is really looking great. So I think this device can fit in almost every home. Now, talking about the specs, so well, it supports 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi 6 at the moment, but you know, Wi-Fi 6, it will take some time. So also like 5 GHz Wi-Fi, it really took some time until it was a real standard. So I don't see any problems here from this perspective. Other than that, it supports 802.11 mesh network standard and also WPA3 encryption. Now, talking a little bit about how to connect all those things together, well, as I've told you, it's super easy. The router is connected via the cable to the modem. You can for sure also have multiple routers in your home, that's no problem. But those access points, they don't have any Ethernet port. The router has 2 Ethernet ports, so you can also connect a switch or something like that. But here you don't have any Ethernet port outlet. So it's no cable extension. So they are just wireless mesh extenders. So what is so cool about this Wi-Fi product? Because, well, it's just supplying Wi-Fi, right? No, actually it has the Google Assistant built in those devices. That means you can say, hey G, play back some music on Spotify, hey G, turn on the vacuum cleaner. I'll just show you that in a second. And also the speaker in here is definitely better than also in the Google Nest Mini. I have the Nest Mini in my bathroom, and the Google Nest Wi-Fi, it has more bass, sounds a bit clearer, and it sounds just really fine having it as a Spotify speaker in your living room or in separate rooms. And also it extends your Wi-Fi, so it's a really great functional device that really packs all of the features in one device. I will now just show you how that looks here at my home. So guys, I'm actually really curious. I have so many Google Home devices here, one in my bathroom, one right over here, 2 right over here, 2 in the other room. So what happens if I say, hey, 1?
Roger that.
Okay. Play some music on Spotify.
Alright, music on Spotify.
So as you can see, it is very directional. So I was pointing in this direction. And if I go right over here, hey, play some music on Spotify.
Alright, music on Spotify. Here you go.
Hey, turn on the vacuum cleaner.
Sure, turning VMUEBOTXBOOST on.
Stop vacuum cleaning.
Okay, stopping BLUEBOTXBOOST.
Damn guys, this is so amazing. By the way, this is the Blue Bot. It's from Blaupunkt, and it's a really amazing vacuum cleaner working perfectly fine with the voice assistant. So, open my door.
Can I have your PIN?
Turn on all the lights. Woo!
Turning 13 lights on.
That's so amazing. Alright, so now I quickly want to show you Google Home, and it also works on the P40 Pro, which doesn't come with the Google services as you can see, but you can actually install the Google mobile services and get access to Google Home, which I did. You can see here my setup. So I have a bathroom speaker, Google Nest Mini, then here I have Nuki for the door, so basically for keyless entry to my home. I have a bunch of different lights, Android TV, soundbar, Google Wi-Fi, a vacuum cleaner, aromatherapy machine, and the Google Nest Hub. So well, what you can see is new here is the living room Wi-Fi 1 and 2, so my both access points, which you can see right over here. Now, if you go to one of the access points, you can actually see that it is connected. So it basically can do a connection test right over here. You can cast here audio over the speaker, but it doesn't work for YouTube videos. That's the only downside. So if you want to listen to YouTube, you have to do it on the Google Nest Hub. Now, I can also show you the router right over here. So you have a bunch of different settings to adjust if you go here to the settings. So for the router, it's not too many, so just a few things, as you can see right over here, like also the status light brightness. But for the access points, you actually have a lot of things to adjust right over here. So as you can see, you can rename them. You can basically activate night mode to disable the LEDs if you want to. It also has ultrasound sensing. That basically means if you go near the Wi-Fi access point, it will actually light up, and that's pretty cool. So it basically detects you. You can also do calls because, well, it has an integrated microphone and speaker, so Google Duo calling is working, and yeah, some really amazing features right over here. Now what's new here is the Wi-Fi, so here you can see it. You can check your internet connection, you can run a speed test. So I'm getting actually some pretty decent speeds for my LTE modem right over here. You can see all the devices which are connected, which is really, really cool. Currently I'm doing an update here on my desktop, and I'm also uploading a few things over the Wi-Fi to my NAS. So I can see that it uses here really a lot of bandwidth on the network. Now, if I don't want that this gets interrupted from any device, I can actually prioritize this device, which is pretty cool. So you go to set priority device. And you can do this when you want to watch Netflix and you want to get maximum bandwidth for gaming, to get like the best bandwidth available. And it's really cool that you can actually so easily prioritize devices right over here. Then we have family Wi-Fi. So for instance, if you want to shut off Wi-Fi at specific times, you can do this right over here. And it's really easy to set up a guest network. So you can also do it right over here. So you just have to put in the name and the Wi-Fi password. So right now it's a bit slow loading. And there we go, you can activate the guest network, just put in the network name and the password, and then you have a guest network. So that's basically everything, or most of the features you can do with Google Wi-Fi here within the app, and I think it's really convenient. Alrighty guys, so now let's talk about the things I don't like about Google Wi-Fi. Now, I have to say, there are not too many things I don't like about it. The price is reasonable, it's actually really good Wi-Fi connection, it's very stable, it's easy to use, and I mean, some of you guys can relate to that. Do you also remember that your parents sometimes ask you, hey, the Wi-Fi is not working, can you do something? And usually you just went to the router and resetted it. Now I still have to do that sometimes, and I'm almost 30 years old. So I want to do that remotely. And in order to get remote access, you have to give permissions for the whole Google Home. That means if you let somebody manage your Wi-Fi, that person has also access to all your Google Home devices, which is a little bit awkward. Now, I wish that the permission system would be here a little bit better, but other than that, really Google Nest Wi-Fi is a fantastic product to not only extend your Wi-Fi, but also make it much smarter with the voice assistant, and to have additional speakers in your home when you want to listen to music. That's simply amazing. And people always say you need to have wired access for everything. I mean, I run here my home server, as you have seen in the server case, a few Raspberry Pis, and this is all working fine. You don't need to have cable connection. I'm using all that with LTE, but you need to have a good modem. And as I've told you, the Fritzbox 6890, if you have LTE connection as your home network, this is absolutely amazing. And compared with Google Nest Wi-Fi, it is even more amazing. And really, I'm not missing out anything, and it makes my production workflow much better. Alrighty guys, usually I don't talk about network products, but this was really a big highlight for me, and I hope for you too. So guys, big thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, I would be really happy if you could like this video. If you have any more questions about Google Home, leave it down below in the description. I will leave you some links to Google Home also down below regarding the price, because it's different in all of the countries. And yeah, in Austria, it's roughly for that set less than 300 euros, which is a pretty good price for a Google product. And yeah, also follow me on TikTok if you haven't yet, because there you can see some things which are going on behind the scenes, and I would be really happy to see you there as well. Alrighty guys, big thanks for watching. As always, I'm Steven from Tech Magnet, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a nice day and bye!